they're sharing a ride back to New York, where they both are, gonna start their lives in New York. They don't know each other. They, met through somebody knew somebody, and they hooked up too. I don't mean hooked up, but they got together just for the drive. And it's a really long drive, okay, really long. I think it is Meg Ryan's car. so he doesn't get them in any trouble, I think. I could be messing the story up. I think that's how it went. And that's that movie in a nutshell, but once again, it's cute and it's a classic. And they have a few others, like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, National Lampoon's European Vacation. But that's the main one. Let's see what else. Okay. I'm gonna talk about one more movie. Pretty in Pink from 1986. It had in it Molly Ringwald and Andrew McCarthy. I don't know why I can't remember his last name. I used to love that guy. He was my favorite from the Brat Pack. You guys know the Brat Pack? It's like all these 1980s teen actors and actresses, a bunch of them. So, Molly Ringwald's name in this movie is Andy, and she is really poor. Like, she lives with her father and they don't have much money, and she works in a record store where she meets Andrew McCarthy. I don't remember his name in the movie. And she really likes him. He's so cute and he's a rich kid and whatever. And she hopes to get together with him. At the same time, she's got this guy, Ducky, who is her best friend. Real weird guy. How would you describe him? I don't know, just very, very strange, like freakish kind of guy. And he's in love with her. But she just wants to be friends with him. She doesn't see it that way. But anyway, it turns out that Andrew McCarthy winds up asking her to go to the prom. And since